G'day, I'm Paul. So Chinese SUVs, they are coming en masse in Australia, and this is one of the latest. I've finally had a chance to drive this, and I've been excited to drive it because, in my opinion, this looks sensational. It is the Zeekr 7X, and this is the top spec version. It's called the Performance All-Wheel Drive. So this is going to compete with stuff like the new Tesla Model Y Performance. But the big difference is price. This is a little over $70,000, whereas the Model Y Performance is over 80 grand. This will do 0 to 100 in under 4 seconds. So excited to take it for a bit of a spin and see what it's like. If that is too expensive, the entire 7X range kicks off at under $60,000. So there is a fair bit there to choose from. Now, in today's review, I'm going to do a detailed sort of deep dive on this. If you do want to skip ahead to other parts of this review, got time codes on the screen there, or if you're on YouTube, you can scroll down and use the chapters below. Now let's talk about the design. I love this color. This sort of shade of green just blends in beautifully with the color differences on the front here. You've got body color and then the black stripe. And at night time, this looks really cool, especially at the rear with the LED that sort of runs along the back there. This will do a light show type thing, kind of useless feature, but it shows you that this whole section here can be sort of lit up if required. Variable cooling down the bottom here as well. So these ducts down the bottom will open as required when it comes to cooling. Full LED headlights across here. Pretty straightforward design in terms of the headlight, nothing too crazy. Around the side here, have a look at this. Piano black. I've mentioned this before, I just don't understand why they insist on putting piano black outside cars. Inside is bad enough, outside just defies logic. But anyway, so this is on a sporty set of tyres because the Performance all-wheel drive is the fastest version that you can get. 21-inch alloy wheels with a machined finish there. Then on the braking front, have a look at that. You've got a rotor that's around 380mm in size, 4-piston Akebono brakes there as well with a decent sized caliper. So should have pretty decent stopping performance, especially when it comes to faster driving. Often with EVs, the brakes are a little undercooked because they rely a lot on regen, whereas in these performance EVs where you're going to be hammering the brakes, you really want a decent set, and that appears to be a pretty decent set to me. Cameras all around the outside, not only for parking, but also for part of the autonomous driving package that I'll run you through when we go for a bit of a spin. You've got a camera built here into the wing mirror with an indicator on the side there as well. Full glass roof. Now these buttons are interesting because this is what you use to open the door. So push of that will actually open the door automatically, and I'll show you how that works once we're inside the car. How effective is it? It's sort of a bit hit and miss. Sometimes works, sometimes opens only a little bit. It's a bit sort of hard to tell what's going on. Like, here we go, it's actually working now. I don't know. It has just been inconsistent every time I've tried this, so okay, it's working. 265mm tyres on the rear and 265 on the front as well. Come around to the back with me. I want to show you what this looks like. This is what I'm talking about. So full LED strip along there and up the top as well. Nicely hidden wiper right up the top there too. Zeekr branding along here with 7X on the back. The button to open this is just nestled away over there. Outside of that, I just think this is a really nice looking design. I know that styling is subjective, but to me, it looks like they've put a lot of effort into designing this car and just making it stand out on the road. It sort of really turns a lot of heads while it's driving. So let me know what you reckon in the comment section below, not only on price, but also on the design as well. Let me know your thoughts. Okay, so we're inside the 7X. This is what the key looks like. You've got unlock, lock, boot, and then frunk. The Zeekr logo on the back there. It's a proximity sensing key, so you can leave this in your pocket. The doors are really cool. So they basically open automatically. So watch this, you press that, and then they're able to sense how near stuff is. So, you know, you're not going to collect a car or kids or anything. Then when you're ready to drive, you just press the brake pedal and it closes the door for you. It's like a Rolls Royce. Now, let's talk about this interior. This is impressive. So yes, this is the top spec model. You're getting your Napa leather seats, but it's just a nice place to be seated. The tones are nice here. You've got darker colors, but it's offset with some of these sort of hues around the cabin and just different materials used throughout the place. Big screen there, but not overly intrusive or sort of in your way up here, and then a screen ahead of the driver that's nicely tucked away too. So it's all sort of presents very nicely with lots of storage that I'll run you through pretty soon. In terms of your touch points though, sort of soft there in the center and soft on the door too. Now our shake test. That all feels very solid through there. Yeah. And this is what the door slam sounds like. Well, I guess I just put my foot on that brake, right? Here we go. Get ready. Let's talk infotainment. So you've got a whopping big 16-inch screen here and then a 13-inch screen ahead of the driver. Now, this is a really good system. You know, all of these Chinese cars have screens, right? And while it may look impressive, some of them just don't really work that well, and the infotainment systems are a bit sort of average. This is probably one of the better ones that I've tested, where I don't know, stuff is just easy to find and it just works. Like CarPlay, an entire display there, wireless as well. I will mention actually that it did drop out a couple of times through toll gantries, which was annoying. It did reconnect, but definitely frustrating. But you know, the fact that it has it there and that it's full screen, but I still have access to all my shortcut controls down the bottom is really good. I'll show you what Android Auto looks like in a second, but the sound system, it's a 10-speaker sound system. The brand is Zeekr Sound, which I've never heard of, but really good sound system. You've got two 50-watt induction chargers here with cooling. They really have just thought of everything. Inbuilt satellite navigation as well, so you don't need to pair your phone if you don't want to. Then you've got apps in here like screencasting. You can also do SMS messaging. You've got music through your smartphone mirroring. You can then basically plug things in, so you can watch videos on here. There's quite a lot sort of in here to play with and to access and do stuff with Sentry mode as well. So yeah, it's quite impressive in terms of how well it works and the functionality of it. Obvious downsides are things like your temperature controls. They're sort of nestled in here, so you've got to take your eyes off the road to access that stuff. The voice recognition system actually works pretty well too, so let's test this out.
I'm here.
Open the driver's window quarter of the way.
Oh. Sorry, I couldn't help you this time.
Open the driver's window halfway. I should stop listening.
I'm listening.
Open the driver's window halfway.
This command isn't available. The window of driver is rolling down halfway.
Close the driver's window now.
Okay, rolling up the window of driver for you.
It's so funny. I was playing with this before, and every single time it worked perfectly fine. Now, it's... Anyway, it works most of the time, so you've got that if you need it. Outside of that, the screen ahead of the driver, pretty straightforward. Nothing sort of too crazy here. You've got trip meter, speed, and all that sort of stuff. But the heads-up display is amazing. So it's 35 odd inches in size, the projected sort of size. It is enormous, and it gives you all of the key information you need ahead of the driver without being too intrusive. So that's definitely a win. And similar to Tesla, you adjust your mirrors, steering wheel, all through this function here. So basically you can adjust everything to do with your sort of visibility stuff here. So yeah, not a bad infotainment system. I'll show you what Android Auto looks like. Sorry, it's all a bit sort of choppy, this section of the video. We're all over the place. Full screen again there as well. Sean and I both don't really use Android. We both have iPhones, so I don't know whether this drops out as well. If you have an Android phone, let me know in the comments section below. Do you have issues with your phone dropping out under toll gantries? It seems to be a recurring theme, which is frustrating. This button is cool as well, so you can assign different functions to it, but at the moment I've got it set up to look at the kids in the second row. How cool is that? That is such a great feature. I remember Hyundai products that had the screen that popped down here. It was actually not a screen, it was like a mirror, so you could have a wide angle view of what was going on in the back. But this is cool. You can see if your baby's asleep or what's going on. Doesn't really help if it's a rear-facing child seat, because their face is going to be that way, but you could always stick like a mirror on the headrest or something. But yeah, pretty cool function nevertheless. Before we move on to the next section as well, I thought I'd mention this. So this can actually be interchanged. So you've got a release here, and this can basically be replaced with a fridge. They've got like interchangeable modules here that you can move things around with. So really cool technology and just something a little bit different for your family car. Now let's talk practicality and your connectivity options. So I mentioned before, 250-watt induction phone chargers with cooling, so that is excellent. Down here you've got two USB-C outlets. I can't find a 12-volt outlet. Sort of, unless it's hiding somewhere, maybe in the boot, but can't find a 12-volt outlet. Outside of that though, on the storage front, you've got cup holders up here. this enormous center console that I mentioned before you can change out for things like a fridge. You've got storage down here as well. So really good layout. Glove box with push of that button opens up, reasonably sized, nothing too crazy. No sunnies holder though, which is a little bit disappointing, but outside of that, it's there's sort of plenty of storage options around. Now, in terms of parking, you've got front and rear parking sensors, but a litany of cameras as well, and they're excellent quality. So you can see here, you've got a number of different angles to choose from. There are your wheels. You can then look backwards. That's looking out the front. You can then switch that to a 3D view if you want, a wheel hub view. And then over here as well, you've got an auto parking feature once the car's in drive. Let's pop that into drive and see what that looks like. Shift gears and try again. Put that into reverse. Okay, so drive to search for parking spaces, and then while you're doing that as well, you can change these views too. So plenty of different options there to pick from. And this is what the horn sounds like. Now let's chat about comfort. So I mentioned before, your comfort controls are operated down the bottom here. You've got dual zone automatic climate control, which is great. There are some other interesting functions here though. So you've got heating for the steering wheel. You can operate the second row here from the front. You can change how the air vents blow their air out, which is cool. In addition to that, you've also got seat heating, cooling. You then have a massage function as well, and the ability to move the passenger seat out of the way from here as well. So you can sort of just shift that out of the way from this screen too. Like, there are just so many functions here, and the massage actually works pretty well also. You can either activate it on the screen or just use the buttons here on the actual seat itself. The seats, let's chat about that. So I mentioned Nappa leather. I have been doing predominantly highway driving in the car, and I must admit, I have been doing a little bit of go-karting lately, so my body is slightly broken as I get older. But I didn't find them overly comfortable. I found there was limited sort of lower back support. So I don't know, have you bought one of these? What's it like? Am I just complaining too much? But yeah, you've got the massage function there if you need it. I just thought they could just, I don't know, be a little softer maybe with a bit more support. But yeah, it is what it is. And then on the seat adjustment, you can go forwards, backwards. You can move the seat cushion forwards and backwards. You can lift the front of the seat, back of the seat. You can adjust your lumbar, and then you can also activate massage function from there as well. Steering offers both tilt and reach adjustment through the screen there. And outside of that, on the reach test, all of this stuff is easy to reach while you're driving. Okay, second row. What is it like back here? So this seat is pretty much all the way back at the moment. When you get out of the car, it sort of goes into a relaxed mode, and there is so much room here. So heaps of knee room, toe room is excellent, headroom is really good as well. You got air vents just off to the side here that you can control on your own. The top spec also gets privacy blinds. There we go. So they can go up and down on these doors. You can also individually lock these doors for child lock, which is a great feature. It just means that you don't have to go faffing around with it. It's sort of easy enough to do. You've got storage here in the center, map pockets there as well. The center armrest that pops down with a couple of cup holders, and then this hidey hole has a USB-C and a USB-A outlet as well. And these seats are pretty comfy back here too. Now, does the window go down all the way? Let's have a look. No. What a shame. Now let's talk cargo. How much space have you got here? So powered tailgate. Now, this space here, over 500 litres, which is good, but also impressive is the underfloor storage. You've got a really nice and deep cavity there, and also additional hidden storage over here too, which is good. 12 volt outlet off to the side. Unfortunately, to drop the second row, you've got to either reach in all the way or go around to the other side to drop it. But when you do drop that, you've got around 2,000 litres available. You can also lower the back here using these buttons if you do need that load floor to be more accessible due to the air suspension that it's running. You've also got about 40 litres of storage space under the bonnet as well. Now, before we go for a spin, I want to run you through charging and battery. So electric charge cover, which I like because it means if you forget to close it and you've driven off, it'll shut, as opposed to some of them where you've got to get out and faff around a bit. AC and DC charging, but have a listen to these specs. So AC charging, 22 kilowatt, 3-phase. DC charging, because it's on 800 volt architecture, it will do over 400 kilowatts when the battery is primed. The battery, 100 kilowatt hours in capacity. Here on the top specs, they're going to give you a driving range of over 500 Ks WLTP. On the long range rear-wheel drive though, you're talking about over 600 kilometers of driving range, and that is basically quelling range anxiety. Now, while the entry-level car has an LFP battery, the two top specs have an NMC battery. So that's a battery that they only recommend you charge to 80 or 90% and only to charge to 100% if you're doing longer distance drives. So just something worth keeping in mind. Okay, so we've just hit the road in the Zeekr 7X. Now, we're doing this a little bit different today because there's an event on at the Proving Ground. We're using the Hill Road, which is where we normally film our big comparison tests, but really great road for sort of dynamic handling and just seeing how this all actually performs. So this is a fascinating car because now with the release of the Model Y Performance, really puts into perspective how the battle is sort of forming for this segment and for people who want a bit of performance, but also longer distance driving range and sort of comfort behind the wheel. So this produces from two electric motors, one on the front axle, one on the rear axle, almost 500 kilowatts of power, a little under 800 newton meters of torque. There's some really big, healthy numbers. And the interesting thing is they haven't gone all out on performance. Yes, it does have air suspension, but you've got adaptive damping there as well, which gives you the best of both worlds. You're getting comfortable ride when you're driving normally, but you can make it sporty by making it firmer as the speed picks up. So we'll see how that goes soon. Now, what does all of that power feel like behind the wheel? We're going up a pretty sort of solid hill here. If I punch the throttle there, pins you beautifully back in the seat. Like, it has some absolute legs. Has got a single pedal driving mode, and I was sort of playing around with that over the past couple of days, and yeah, it's good but not amazing. Sort of when you roll out of the throttle, it's sort of fairly strong in terms of the regen, but it's not as strong as it could be. I find with the Tesla single pedal driving system that it's really strong, and then you modulate how hard it's decelerating with using the throttle. So you can sort of go in and out on the throttle to limit how much it's slowing down, and it will then gradually come to a stop predictably. Whereas this takes a long while to stop, so you are often accessing the brake pedal. Not the end of the world because the pedal feel is actually pretty good, but I think that could do with just a little bit more tuning. Then on the ride front as well, when it comes to the adaptive damping, you have several modes to pick from here, and with the air suspension too, you can actually change how high the vehicle sits. It also has like an easy access mode where it lowers as you're sort of getting in and out. But with the damping mode, you've got comfort, standard and sport. I found with the comfort setting that it was a little bit floaty and it didn't really have that level of sophistication to it. It's more sort of kind of tuned like an American car where it is just really floaty and bounces around a lot. So it is okay if you're on a smoother road, but if you do find imperfections like our sine waves, can get a little bouncy. We did actually shoot some video on the sine waves earlier at 130 Ks an hour, which is the maximum speed limit in Australia. Actually performed pretty well in both the standard and sport settings. In the comfort settings, it was just a little bit too floaty, but standard and sport, it was really nice and flat and predictable as well. And then in terms of how that translated to our bumpy road, which we do at 90 Ks an hour, it worked well there, but on the condensed sine waves that we use, it took a little while for it to catch up, and sometimes this can happen if the frequency of the sine waves is just a little bit too fast. It wasn't too bad, but it is something that you definitely notice, and that just comes with a level of sophistication on suspension tuning, which they just don't quite have here. It isn't going to be a deal breaker, but just something worth pointing out compared to some of the European vehicles in this segment. Now let's talk about road noise. So we put this up against our calibrated sound meter. It did reasonably well. You will find with these sportier tyres and the sportier wheels that you do get a bit more noise inside the cabin on coarse chip roads. It isn't overly intrusive, but you do notice it as the speed picks up. Not quite as sort of raucous inside the cabin as the Xpeng G6 that we're testing at the moment as well, which isn't as sporty as this. So you kind of cut this a little bit of slack because it is a sportier tune, but it isn't sort of dead silent as you're traveling at highway speeds. In terms of efficiency, I was expecting it to be worse than it actually is. I've been doing predominantly highway driving, averaging around 20 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres. You know, in a big vehicle like this, the trade-off that you have with a big battery is you're getting your explosive performance, but because it is so heavy, it reduces your driving range, which is why with the mid-spec long range, you've got the big battery as well, but being only rear-wheel drive is saving a lot of that weight. You know, so, I mean, it doesn't compromise massively in terms of your driving range. You're still getting a really healthy driving range. You just pay the penalty of it being a slightly heavier vehicle when it comes to performance. Okie dokie, so let's pop this into sport mode and see what this feels like. So acceleration in sport mode, and I'll put the damping in sport as well. Give that a stab. Oh, it is so fast. The acceleration is on another planet entirely. So let's see what this feels like through some of these corners, being a heavier vehicle. Brake pedal feels great as well. I think they've done a decent job with that. The steering's good too, so even when it's not in this sport mode, you're getting great feedback through the steering. And road holding is great thanks to the tyres as well. It is a grippy set of treads. We've got our U-turn, or our sort of hairpin down the bottom here. I'll just see what it feels like out of here once we get on the throttle. There is an ESC sport mode you can access too, because right there it's sort of being a little bit bitey. Oh, very nice. So we threw this around our regular ride and handling track this morning. Turn one actually felt really nice and stable. It has a degree of body roll, but ultimately you can really just tip it in, lean on the throttle, and it will sort the rest out. So from that point of view, it felt pretty good. And even here on the hill road, it's sort of motoring along pretty nicely. So yeah, look, it is a bigger vehicle, so you will notice that as the speed picks up, but you're not really paying the consequence of its size and mass, which kind of confuses me from a physics point of view, because it feels quite agile and impressive with a big set of stoppers up the front there too. So from a dynamic point of view, I think they've really nailed it in terms of the overall package. One of the things that I've got to say that I've been pretty impressed with is just the lack of intrusive safety aids. It appears, and I don't know whether this is a mistake or not, but when you disable stuff like the driver monitoring system and a couple of the other features, they don't switch back on when you start the car again. So it means that you don't have to constantly keep adjusting that stuff while you're driving. We're not going to have a chance to do autonomous driving testing today on the Bowl, unfortunately, because of that event. But based on the testing I did do, it has like a self-steering mode on the freeway. It works fine. It can be a little bit sensitive to other cars that are near you in their lanes. Like it sometimes just brakes even if a car sort of isn't near you. It has a lane change function, and that I found worked maybe 60% of the time. The other 40%, you put the indicator on, it would just stop the lane changes and tell you it was cancelled, which just I found a little bit confusing. So I think that can definitely be improved, but the fact that this does over-the-air updates and all of those things means that it's something they can fix pretty easily. One thing I did notice just on the driving front, this like blind here, it is just way too short. So this morning there was quite a low sun on the horizon, and I mean it was pretty much useless. It only covers the top tiny portion of that windscreen. So it does mean that it is quite difficult to sort of find that position. You have to lift your seat right up. So I think that's probably something that can be improved. So visibility, easy to see out the front of the car, which is good. Big wing mirrors there as well. Visibility out the back is quite poor, and that's something that I think they definitely need to address with a digital rear view mirror, because it's just difficult to see out of, and if you've got a road that slopes up a bit behind you, you genuinely just can't see any cars behind you. And I think that is one of the big downsides of the design they have at the back there. It just makes it difficult to actually get proper vision, which they really need to look at addressing. And you've got all these gadgets around the car. Let's just add a digital rear view mirror, which would totally fix that problem. Okay, time to do a little bit of performance testing. There's an event on here today, so we're doing this at a slightly different spot at the proving ground, but should still get the same results. So we're going to go all the way through to 120, and then that'll give us 80 to 120 overtaking time and the 0 to 100 time as well. We've got this in sport mode, got suspension in sport mode. I've switched stability control off just to make sure that we can get away nice and cleanly. So let's see what happens. I'm excited for this. All right, here we go. Oh, nice. Very nice and strong. Oh, nice. There's 120. That's over and done with very quickly. Okie dokie. So let's see how that went. 3.76 seconds, so very nice and rapid. 80 to 120, 1.83 seconds. Now that is an impressive time because that is basically your overtaking time. Shows you that this thing gets up and absolutely mumbos. Battery capacity is at 50% as well, by the way. So yeah, some nice numbers there. So let's go do a stop now from 100. Okay, here we go. Oh. That felt very impressive. Okay, so 100 to 0. Wow. 2.57 seconds, 36.18 metres. That is incredible stopping distance. Anything between 35 and 40 is on the money for something this big. To stop that rapidly, very impressive. So that is good. If you do want to see how this car compares to others that we've tested before, have a look at the link in the description below. We'll put some numbers on the screen so you can see how some of its nearest rivals compare as well. So how fast does it go in reverse? Well, let's find out. Here we go. So 30 kilometres an hour. Okay, so Zeekr 7X performance all-wheel drive. Depending on when we release this video, this is filmed at the end of 2025. This is probably the best electric car I've driven this year. I have been genuinely blown away with this, not only from a features point of view, they've just thought about everything. You've got a frunk, you've got plenty of storage in the back, heaps of room inside, features there to keep you and the family and the kids happy. It's fun to drive, the ride's good. It is just really hard to fault. And the price, it is such insane value for money at that price compared to other performance vehicles in this segment. So I think they've absolutely nailed it there in terms of functionality and the way that it drives. And it's a car that I'm finding really hard to fault. So I didn't love the last Zeekr that we drove, the smaller one, but I think this is yeah, definitely a huge improvement. So let me know what you reckon in the comments section below. Have you bought one of these? What's it like? One of my big concerns with a lot of these car companies is buying the car and what support is like after you've bought it, whether you need parts, you've been in a minor accident, how long are you waiting? Let me know what you guys are finding as owners of these vehicles in the comments section below. Aside of that though, it is a very impressive car. So if you did enjoy the video, please make sure you like it and you share it with your mates. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. But until next time, take it easy.